So here for you, we are going to describe the Hdcvi Ten. That is a technology meant to work on the different technologies such as a coaxial AI era. So HTCVI simply means or implies, that's just an acronym, in full is basically the high definition composite video interface. High definition composite video interface. And HTCVI is DAWA's patented in-house technology. So DAWA came up with this technology and ended up just owning all the rights for the technology. And it is an over-coaxial cable video transmission that enables long-distance, high-definition video transmission over a wide range of application scenarios at a very friendly cost. So in this case, when talking about the HTCVI, we have different kinds of information which can be sent over through a single cable. For example, we have the video signals, audio signals, data signals, and the power signals. So all these are basically going to be transferred in one single cable. So alongside having the 4 signals over one cable, we support different types of resolutions from the low resolution end, that is from 720p, that's 1.3 megapixels, 1080, 4 megapixels, 5 megapixels, and 8 megapixels to provide you with that 4K resolution. So alongside the first two general items, HTCV also supports long distance transmission over the coaxial cable, and this distance going to span up to 1,200 meters in distance when using the coaxial cable. But when using the twisted pair cable or the UTP, the distance will be elongated from the ordinary 100 meters to 450 meters in length. Then we have seamless upgrade features or ability. That's compatible with existing coaxial cable pentabridge. So in this case, the pentabridge, we have different types of video formats. We have the HDCVI, Hdcvi, and CVBS, and the IP technology. So this is an XVR that again can accommodate a number of IP cameras all along. So and then again, all these are basically real plug and play. There are no issues with configurations. Just plug the cables to the device. Then again, you find that you have all your cameras working at an instance. So it comes to the HDCVI. It comes a long way through the different technologies. And you're going to take a look at some of the technologies that have been generated since the inception of the HDCVI technology. So we have some developments here. It was basically launched in the year 2012, and it had some continuous improvements. The year 2015, 2016, we had some upgrade features, that is to HDCVI 3.0, that supported full compatibility with the 2K HD and intelligent functions. From 2016, 2017, it was upgraded more to HDCVI 4.0 that has these other more features, such as the 4K Ultra HD signals or display. Internet of Things was again included in the HDCVI 4.0. Then we have the compression, the standard compressions, that is a H265, supported power over coaxial, then again could broadcast quality audio. So in this case, most of the devices connected to this will support audio features. Then the year 2018, it was elevated higher to HDCVI 5.0. And in this case, included some AI technologies, maybe AI features, active deterrence features, starlight, and the full color functions, just to ensure that it can support better image display in places where we have, for example, low illumination for this starlight function, and the full light, the full color functions, either during the day or during the night again. So more to that, this year, 2019, 2021, it was again elevated higher to HTCVA 6+. So the higher the number of the HTCVA, the more the inbuilt features for these particular products are added. For example, here we have this supported the real 5MP display with a ratio of 16:9, supported the super adapt feature for all products. So in this case, the products can distinguish the scenes that are in. They have been installed, either outdoor scenes or indoor scenes. Supports real K, 4K real-time display. So implying that this video output generated by this 4K real output, the images are basically going to have rich dynamic information. Then again, you have enhanced AI features and AI coding alongside the 3-in-1 camera function capabilities. So in this case, now the year 2022, that is now development of the Hdcvi Ten. And in this case, this is what you're learning in today's training. So let's take a look at some of the features or maybe content that we're going to take a look at throughout the presentation for today based on the Hdcvi Ten. So this Hdcvi Ten basically is a mission of enabling a safer society and smart living in different environments, whether indoor environments, household environments, outdoors environments, industrial environments, etc. So DAWA has been continuously active in providing more opportunities to customers as well as improving its services. Improving its services with innovations and technological advancements through the products, the hardware features. So we have artificial intelligence for all, that's the AI features. We have scheduled artificial intelligence features. We have the smart door lighting features. And again, support of the real 5MP with a ratio of 6:9 this output display. So in this case, these are the major improvements when it comes to the Hdcvi Ten as a product developed by DAWA. So one is basically artificial intelligence for all. They're going to describe this feature in the coming slides. So why it is said artificial for all? So the reason why it is said artificial for all is basically all the XVRs are upgraded to artificial intelligence ability or capability. All people can better serve, can be better served of labor and time cost saving with artificial intelligence functions. And again, all users can configure AI more conveniently, more easily with its user-friendly user interface. So in this case, this brings about the usability of this particular product in different categories of different people in different societies. So in this case, all-in-one means that all can be realized on all XVR models. And again, we have abilities to use the AI with affordable prices and user-friendly designs. The other part is basically the release over the Cooper I series in the year 2021 that provided, proving that even entry-level XVR deserves the AI, and the XVR achieves a whole series AI upgrade. So in this case, we have other features such as high cost efficiency and ease of use significantly lower the AI usage barriers, making everyone enjoy the benefits of the AI functions. So initially, most of these AI functions were only on the NVR products or maybe the IPC products, but now these have been included in the XVR product just to balance the barriers when it comes to utilization of the AI features in these recorders, and again, based on the affordability of the products in the market for each and every person to get reach of those products and enjoy the benefits of having these AI functions with the devices. So this is some of the reasons why it is said that it's AI for all XVR products, depending on the different models that we have. So in this case, at the bottom, you're told that the product selection may vary by country and the local selection shall prevail. So we have different countries with different products that support different features. But I believe all those features are basically unified just to ensure that all the clients benefit from the AI features included in these XVR products. So let's take a look at some of these AI functions. So in this case, with the adoption of an AI chip and advanced deep learning algorithms, AI enables precise recognition of humans and vehicles for accurate alarm and quick target search. So in this case, at the device interface, if you go to the artificial intelligence windows, there's a section that you can select the target filters and just ensure that those target features are selected basically based on the humans and the vehicles. So it makes it easier for users to focus on real threats. And it also enhances the video analytics analysis efficiently, thus significantly reduces the labor cost. So if you go back to these human and vehicles for accurate alarm and quick target search, it uses these advanced features. Let's say, for example, the smart motion detection. And this smart motion detection is basically a feature or an AI function that ensures that the product can filter out all those essential alarm triggers, leaving out non-essential alarm triggers. And those non-essential alarm triggers as anything else that is not part of the two, that's the human and vehicles. For example, animals, we have leaves or branches, flashy bright lights, or again, we have, let's say, for example, rain or water. So in this case, these are some of the AI features that have been included into an XVR. So we have smart motion detection plus, we have perimeter protection through some IVS rules, whereby you can set different types of rules. For example, the tripwire rules, and the perimeter protection, the intrusion rules, that is. So alongside that, there's some more other perimeter protection or IVS rules which can be configured to these devices. Now we have AI coding. Now, AI coding is basically brought about just to ensure that we have that efficient utilization of the bandwidth when it comes to transmitting or maybe sending the data from one point to another point again. As a result, you find that without the AI coding, data generated by these devices will be bulky. So the second function of this AI coding is just to ensure that we have that optimal utilization of the hard disks by basically compressing the data in such a way that we improve the hard disk utilization without wasting a lot of disk space. So AI coding is basically one way of ensuring that your bandwidth is well utilized, at the same time your hard disk is well utilized, but you don't end up losing a lot of disk space. So let's break down these smart motion detection plus features. So like I said before, SMD plus will refer to the smart motion detection plus, and that this can recognize human and vehicle shapes based on motion detection only in order to reduce multiple false alarms. And when it comes to the detection, its detection is for the smart motion detection plus, its detection rate, maybe accuracy rate, is basically 98% accuracy when it comes to detecting those essential alarm triggers and non-essential alarm triggers, just for it to end up filtering them out. So in this case, we have just the groupings of all the items that can produce those alarm filters. So in this case, we have different products which will end up generating the alarms. We have the human vehicles, we have some other non-essentials. So this is an example of a traditional IVS. So meaning that each and every of these elements given here will end up producing those alarms outside there. But with these advanced technologies from the XVRs that have included part of the artificial intelligence, we have an AI chip which has been incorporated into these devices. Along the AI chips, we have the deep learning algorithm functions, which will enable those AI chips just to ensure that it filters out what is important, leaving out what is non-important. So for example, now we have input based on the camera that have been captured, the details outside there. So whatever been captured will be filtered out based on these two particular items, the AI chips and the deep learning algorithms. So as an end result, we find that we are going to filter out everything, leaving out only the essential alarm triggers. And those alarm triggers are basically going to be based on human beings and vehicles. The other items are going to be discarded simply because they're going to be producing those false alarms every now and then. So more on this smart motion detection plus, that's for accurate alarm for human and vehicles only. So if you take a look at this image here, we have different types of alarm triggers. So, but through the smart motion detection plus, it has only detected the human body forms and the vehicles. So remember here we have some other non-essential alarm triggers, such as the animals, leaves, maybe some other items which are not listed here, but we have the animals and leaves. So in this case, through this smart motion detection plus, with the combination of the AI chips and advanced algorithms, so implies that it filters these two elements, leaving out the human and vehicle as the source of the true alarms. So with the smart motion detection plus, XVR only alarms for human and vehicle intrusions and filters out less important movements, helping users to focus on what really matters, saving time and labor cost of checking the useless alarms triggered by, let's say, animals and falling leaves. So that is one function of the smart motion detection plus. Alongside that, quick target search is another function supported by this smart motion detection plus. The filters will never change. We just leave them being human and vehicle filters only. So in this quick search, with optimal human and vehicle trigger types, significantly improves the searching efficiency of the XVR. So in this case, I only have to do just use an XVR which is intelligent, then snip out the items that you want to do to search quickly, then just specify the time that you need to do the search. Then upon specifying the time and selecting the right filters for human and vehicles, what will be required of you is basically to start searching, and the system or the recorder will start searching based on what was selected only, leaving out those other non-essential items which will consume a lot of time when it comes to doing the quick search. So quick target search just reduces the amount of time the device takes to give you, produce to you, that is from digging deep into those voluminous items captured by the cameras, just to ensure that it saves you a lot of time producing what you need with a lot of ease. So we have a combination of the SMD plus functions and some other application areas where we can have it utilized well. So one is basically places that will need intrusion alarm and activate the deterrents for property protection. So a challenge here, say that most crimes happen during the non-business hours, for example, during the night. And when monitored site is lacking security guards, the crimes can happen. Users may fail to take action in time and suffer property losses. So in this case, because we don't have a way of ensuring that we have those early notifications, or we don't have a system that can deter such kind of activities before they end up happening. So to solve this problem, we utilize an AI basically utilize some devices that supports the AI. For example, the AI XVR that have the smart motion detection plus features with accurate detection, active deterrence cameras. So when a person or vehicle intrudes the monitoring scene is basically the section that you've set a rule whereby if any of those target filters get into that particular rule, maybe that area, then it triggers the alarms, producing some sound, then again producing some light just to show that it fends off those particular intruders. So in this case, when a person or vehicle intrudes the monitoring scene, the smart motion detection plus feature identifies the potential risk and sends alarm to the users immediately. So at the same time, the active deterrence cameras warns of the intruders with the white light and the siren. White light and the siren. So remember that this is basically just an active deterrence camera. This camera does not have the blue and the red lights because that's not a TIOC camera. This is just a basic active deterrence camera that will warn the intruders or fend off the intruders by producing this white light and again a siren. So this product has a speaker just to project the warnings, just to ensure that you keep off those particular intruders. Then we have perimeter protection as another function for AI. That's AI for all XVR products. So with the perimeter protection, this is an intelligent analysis based on some IVS rules, such as the tripwire and the area intrusion. It sends alarms only when intrusion triggers are triggered by the humans or the vehicles occurring, saving users from unnecessary actions caused by the false alarms. So these alarms are going to be sent to the user through the DMSS application linked with the product serials, just to ensure that any kind of intrusion that happens either during the day, the users will be notified about them. So we have here the traditional IVS, whereby we all these are basically some elements that can end up causing the false alarms or other miss alarms. So in this case, but now if we use the perimeter protection, we find that now this can filter out some of these elements, leaving out only humans and vehicles. So for example, if a bird flew over this perimeter, the alarm won't be triggered because it has already filtered out those elements, leaving out only the two elements to be human and vehicles. So if a human tries to cross this boundary here, an alarm will be triggered. If a vehicle basically is parked at this particular section here, again, the alarms will be triggered. So that's for the perimeter protection when it comes to accurate alarms. So more on this perimeter protection again can enable the users to do some So, Shem Morimi, when it comes to, let's say, for example, targeting drones in the restricted areas, we have other products that will ensure that drones are not going to be around those particular areas. We have some anti-drone devices that basically disable the functions for the drones flying into those particular areas. So on the quick target search for the perimeter protection, the same case applies, just like the same thing applies, just like the smart motion detection. Still on this, artificial intelligence window of your device. If you go to the IVS, this is where we end up setting those, the tripwires and the intrusion areas. Just enable effective targets to be human and the motor vehicle. So if you enable that, then again becomes easier when looking for a particular clip, or maybe some video footages based on those two triggers. So with the perimeter protection, we have improved supported channels, that is for the XVRs. So in this case, the traditional XVR had the following. We only accommodated one channel that could support the function for the perimeter protection. But in this case, these other new XVRs have the ability to have up to 8 channels that will support perimeter protection. So you can set up to those 8 channels to ensure that your perimeter is well protected. So then again, at the bottom here, told the channel number varies between the different models. So you should see the data sheets for specific channels which are supported by, support these other artificial intelligence functions. And to get these data sheets, you can just visit DAWA's website, go to all products page, then choose the required products based on the model number that it has. Then you'll have the data sheet that explains more on the functions for supported by that particular product. So the applicable scenarios for this perimeter protection is basically places where we think that could be some sources of hazards where you can end up injuring, let's say, for example, people. For example, here we have a swimming pool. The individuals, let's say, for example, who cannot swim, or a restricted area where we have different times for people allowed to do the swimming. So false alarms in surveillance systems waste time and labor checking and taking necessary actions every now and then. So in order to enhance the monitoring reliability and efficiency at the same time, an accurate alarm system should be deployed just to mitigate the chances of having those so many unnecessary false alarms that ends up wasting a lot of time and labor in checking them every now and then. So in this case, a solution that can deter this kind of challenges is basically a perimeter protection solution. So that allows users to set different types of IVS rules, for example, the tripwire and the intrusion rules for the actual needs for different scenarios. For example, here users can configure a specific area where unidirectional crossing is forbidden. For example, in this case, a direction towards the pool is forbidden. And the perimeter protection push notifications include intrusion type, that is for the humans and vehicles information. Humans and vehicles information. So in this case, the good thing is that we can have this AI function scheduled. So that, let's say, for example, it's during the evening, you cannot have individuals at this particular point, but during the day at this particular hour, even if you end up going to this particular section here, alarm won't be triggered at all. But we'll take a look at some of those AI schedules just to make the point more clear and better. Khalid, yes, it targets any form of automobile. It's not just restricted to motor vehicles. Any kind of motor vehicle, it can be detected as a target for sounding the alarms or maybe triggering the alarms. Then we have AI coding. So earlier on, we talked about the AI coding that has been introduced into these XVRs that have these artificial intelligence features included in them. So AI coding is basically brought about just to ensure that, or maybe to facilitate better utilization of your bandwidth, and again, better disk utilization. So in this case, AI coding puts emphasis on humans and vehicles while encoding, so ensuring that the target image quality while saving up to 50% of the bandwidth and the storage cost as compared with these international standards for compression, that is H265. So in this case, this is what we have, H265 encoding, and we have AI coding in this case again. So with the H265 kind of coding, what it does basically combines both the targets and the background. And as the data becomes more dynamic, you find that there are some other elements which are static but still keep on being included as part of data being stored. So in that case, realizing we have a lot of space which will be utilized at the disk case, to a disk, that is simply because it has collected a lot of information, whether static or dynamic at the same time. But when it comes to the AI coding, it separates the background. Then again, it puts the target based on those two filters, that's the vehicles and the human beings. So implying that it's only these particular items or maybe these particular elements which will be included as part of that dynamic information. Then since we have a background that is static and was collected the first, maybe the initial stages, so this other subsequent stages, if the background is still the same, it won't change at all. So in this case, we find that the space to which the background occupies is basically a small amount of space, but we have the target, since it's dynamic in nature, will keep on accumulating some space, but not that a lot of space as compared to that H265 coding technique. So in this case, AI coding basically meant to improve on a data capacity in terms of its bandwidth, speeds, and again, better utilization of your disk space. So implying that you're not going to have unnecessary information saved on your hard drives every now and then. It only focuses on static background that I'm collecting the first instance and some other dynamic information which is collected, and that information is practically based on the two target filters, which are the human beings and the vehicles as well. So in that regard, you're going to find yourself utilizing your hard disk very well when it comes to its utilization. So this is another feature for cost saving because the device supports the AI coding. So in this case here, we have 50% saved data in terms of the bandwidth and storage space, and that this is some interrelation between the two coding techniques, the AI coding and the H265. So in this case, we have, let's say, for example, 1 megapixel camera that has 30 frames per second. So implying that this camera captures information that is very rich in terms of data, which is dynamic in nature and complete information. We have 2 megapixels again at 30 frames per second. So implying that this data is more complete, has more dynamic information with rich details again. Then we have 4 megapixels at 30 frames per second again. So this implies that the frames to which the images are captured are basically complete. So this ends up providing real-time information. As a result, if the frames have this dynamic information, complete data, that is, we find that now the information becomes bulky each and every time. So we find that, let's say, for example, let's talk about these 4 megapixels here. So the amount of data which is going to be captured by maybe a camera that supports H265 coding compared to a camera that has, let's say, for example, AI coding, or maybe the device that supports AI coding, you find that the amount of space, maybe the amount of data which it's going to be brought about by the AI coding will be shrunk. That is half the amount of data that is supported by H265 device. So we find that this shrinks the data 50%, just to ensure that we minimize the number of hard disks and again the duration to which it can keep our data for a certain time. So so for this 4 megapixels, the actual size basically 4096, but in this case, this reduces the side 50%. You can take a look at this 1080, the same case again, 50% of this data compressed using this H265. If you go to 1 megapixel, you find that then again, this is the amount of data, but this is what will be compressed if you engage yourself by using this AI coding compression technique. So on the number of hard disks that you can utilize, let's say, for example, 2 megapixel, and this is an 8-channel recorder device. For storage of 1 month, the video, you find that you'll end up, if you're using this other international standard for H265, you'll find yourself using this number of hard disks for just one particular month. If you elevate this compression standard higher to 265, H265, you'll find yourself you're going to be using roughly half the amount of this particular disk capacity, from 12 TB to 6 TB. If you have, again, forced to go a little bit higher and use the AI coding on the recorders, you find that now you're going to shrink the data, maybe shrink the disk space half again to 3 TB. So in this case, AI coding basically going to be useful a lot when it comes to better utilization of your hard disk, and again, better utilization of the bandwidth. So stability when it comes to AI coding. So artificial intelligence coding is based on the CBR, or the constant bit rate, that requires fixed bandwidth construction, ensuring the system stability. So in this case, this uses the variable bit rate, or the VBR, that has high burstness, which is difficult to calculate the required bandwidth for this particular number of channels connected to that recorder that supports H265 plus. But when it comes to, let's say, for example, the AI coding, it makes it easier to deploy the bandwidth and improve the bandwidth utilization, simply because you can actually note the pipe to which the data goes in through. So in this case, this doesn't have a lot of dynamic information compared to this variable, which makes a little bit difficult for you to set the amount of bandwidth for your products. That is the cameras collecting the data to take them to the DVR or the XVR, and other devices that will require to have different data captured. The cameras sent into, let's say, for example, we're trying to save the data into a different offline, online, but a remote storage location. So this ends up generating stable data frames. This is basically going to give you a lot of dynamic data. That's basically going to give you challenges when it comes to assigning a certain amount of bandwidth for sending those particular data captures from the camera to different storage sources. Let's say, for example, the cloud storage or any other network storage facility. So AI coding applications, you can have them, let's say, for example, in places such as warehouses. So in these warehouses, the only activities which are basically going to be captured there, basically when we have, let's say, for example, loading, offloading of those particular products into these shelves every now and then. So let's say, for example, we don't have any other activity, we can have the bitrate set to, let's say, for example, CBR. So that we can have that particular data streams, which are basically constant in nature. But so we have the villas as well, some other places where we can have devices that support AI coding, mostly our XVRs. We have casinos again, we have museums, we have shopping malls. So in this case, just remember again, we can use different AI functions, for example, smart motion detection, to detect any kind of intrusion in these areas. We have, let's say, for example, perimeter protection, which we can set at this particular end. Where we have the museums, again, we can set, for example, the tripwires so that we don't allow people to go closer to these images. Or again, we can set, let's say, for example, some intrusion. And those intrusions basically going to be used effectively, let's say, for example, during the night when there are no people here, just to man or guard the area again. So in the shopping malls, we can set, for example, the tripwires in the entrance of the malls, or again, some intrusions at the perimeter walls of the shopping malls again. Similar case applies to the casinos. So in this case, AI coding can be applicable in most of these areas that we interact with on a daily basis. So let's take a look at Schedule AI. So in this Schedule AI introduction, that's basically a way of scheduling how you want those AI functions to be effective during the day or during the night again. So in this case, one can set those AI functions according to different times period, that is either during the day or during the night. And in those different time periods, we can set up to 6 time segments a day, up to 6 times segment a day. Let's say, for example, from 6 a.m., let's say to 8 a.m., from 8 to 10, 10 to 12, 12 to 2, 2 to 4, just those particular segments until they get to the required number, that is 6 times. Alongside that, users can set the schedule AI by week according to the real needs. And this again can be replicated. You can replicate those number of days scheduled that's supported. Let's say, for example, you have like, simply go to, let's say, Monday and set the rules. Then again, those rules, you can replicate them to those other various days of that particular week. So alongside that, this can improve the configuration efficiency and suits for many application scenarios that will want to have the features set for you. In this case, there's some other developments here. Schedule AI function is only supported by the XVR 5000 series, 4KL. Again, we have the i3 AI third generation series, and all models support one channel. So it's always a good thing to take a look at the datasheet of the product before implementing it into a certain site. Other examples of Schedule AI, for example, you have a store application. So in this case, you can combine both that intelligent XVR with a TIOC 2.0 product line. So in this case, we have different schedules. We have the day schedule and the evening schedule, for example, the night schedule. So in this case, we have, let's say, for example, from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., we have the smart motion detection just to filter only humans and vehicles. So in the daytime, the X-ray is automatically configured as a smart motion detection function, and links the TIFC 2.0 Hdcvi camera, which can be used for welcoming a customer at the entrance of the door. So in this case, you can set some rules in such a way that, let's say, for example, that's a tripwire or an intrusion. So anytime either a human being steps into that intrusion, based on this customized alarm prompts, what you can do, the TIOC camera can welcome. Just upload a certain customized audio file just to ensure, just to have that welcoming ability to the customer. Once you set into this intrusion rule, maybe this the monitoring area, the camera projects some audio file, for example, welcome, such as that. Now, other scheduled AI times, for example, during the nighttime from 9 p.m. to 8 a.m., you can set another AI function. That's the perimeter protection function. So in this case, the Xperia will automatically configured. Is configured as the perimeter protection function, links the TIOC camera Hdcvi, which can be used to for active deterrence. If, let's say, for example, someone ends up getting closer to the entrance of the building, or maybe, for example, the entrance of the store, it can fend off the intruder by actually producing some customized alarm prompts, for example, private plan door entry, or maybe, for example, this place is a restricted area, and then again producing the strobe lights. That's the red and the blue light, just to ensure that it can fend off the intruder completely from proceeding on to what he or she intended to do. So that is what we call the scheduled by AI, just scheduled by the different times in different time period, that is. So in this case, an important note, the bottom here, the voice setting function can either be used with the can only be used with TIOC 2.0 camera. So in this case, you can record some customized voice prompts, then again use either the NVR or the mobile phone connected to your device through the DMS application and upload the voice prompt to that product. That's the Hdcvi TIOC camera. So voice settings only applicable to this TIOC 2.0. More to these AI schedules, we have the VIL applications. Same case applies just like the store. You can set your own different AI schedules based on the times during the day or during the night. And in this case, we can have different AI functions set by default to be used on those different time frames. So, for example, you have the perimeter protection and the smart motion detection during the night, the perimeter protection during the day from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., SMD plus during the night from 10 to 6 a.m. again. So this is one way of just ensuring that you enforce the security at your villas. So other application areas we have, for example, the coastlines, we have schools, we have public swimming pools, and we have different schedules just to ensure that we keep people and property safe. For example, here we have during the day, we use the smart motion detection plus just to alarm the people just to pay attention to safety. During the night, because of the high tides, basically tell the people to keep off the coastlines. At the schools, we have during the day and during the night, again, we have different functions that can be used based on the artificial intelligence. The day we can set the smart motion detection plus, and again, just to indicate or maybe tell the people to drive slowly because we could have kids just walking around. Then we have during the day, during the night, you can set the perimeter protection. And we have other customized voice prompts or alarm prompts just to alert the people to keep off those particular areas. Public swimming pools, again, we can do different AI functions just to ensure that we keep the people safe. So this is an example of how we can set the customized ringtones. So a 3-in-1 camera can realize, or maybe realizes actively warning of intruders with the strobe lights, that's the red and blue lights, and the speakers. So the alarm sound of the camera can be customized and uploaded through both the DMS's application and the device, bringing more convenience and flexibility to the end users. So here I tell that we have 2 ways of uploading customized ringtones. One is by using the DMS's application, select the channel or maybe the camera that you need to upload the file to, then upload the file. The same case again, or you can use the local or the web interface. And in this case, we're going to use the interface of the XVR. So we select the channel that you want to upload that customized voice alarm to the device, select that, then upload or update the file. It will be sent to that particular camera connected to the XVR. We have one-click arming and disarming features. That's still on the scheduled artificial intelligence. So in this case, with disarm option for siren and warning lights of the cameras, users can quickly switch arming and disarming status at the DMSS application on their phones. Furthermore, users can freely choose not to be disturbed by the application or platform when the event notifications are disabled. So in this case, let's say, for example, I've gone to a very important meeting. I don't want to have those notifications disturbing me. I can actually use one-tap arming and disarming function through the mobile application. That's the DMSS, and switch it off completely. So the other time after the meeting, I decide, let me go back and activate it just to ensure that I can receive the notification through the phone again. So that can be done through the mobile phone and the device again. Just go to the alarm section, then we have siren and the warning light again. Though we have some other features here that you can decide to arm or disarm again. So you can realize, let's say, for example, as the minute this has been disarmed, it only detects that this is using the smart motion detection. Recognizes that there's a human being here, but now again, this will not form any kind of warning, let's say through the strobe lights or any other kind of customized alarm tones, because it has been disarmed completely. But you can arm this again. The minute you arm, now these features take full functionalities. This is more onto this. This can be controlled by a local alarm. So you can connect this to a switch in such a way that anytime there are those notifications, instead of going to the device interface, that's the XVR interface, or using their mobile phone's DMSS application, basically just use a switch and disable or arm that particular function. So besides just having the XVR user interface or the DMSS application, this arming and disarming can also be controlled by the local alarm of the device. For example, you are told that users can press the alarm button switch to quickly arm or disarm the control of the device, bringing a lot of convenience for the end users. So that's one way of just ensuring that you can access the device, arm and disarm that particular function again. So the other function supported by this artificial intelligence XVR or the Hdcvi Ten functions supports a smart dual illuminator cameras or the smart dual illuminators function. So we take a look at this. So the high definition composite video interfaces, smart dual illuminators refers to the complete system, and with an intelligent XVR or the AI XVR can accurately detect real targets while filtering out the false alarms. So in this case, according to the target state detected by the intelligent XVR, the camera can flexibly switch between these modes. We have the IR mode, the white light mode, and to effectively reduce the light pollution. So in short, we're trying to imply here, through the smart dual illuminators, we have 3 modes. We have the smart dual mode that intelligently switches between the IR illuminators and the white light mode. We have the white light mode, whereby a user can select that mode just to ensure that the white light mode is always on or the user can select the IR mode just to ensure that even if it's during the night, whatever happens after detecting, the video footages will still be in black and white. But the best thing is best just to leave it at the smart dual illuminator mode. So in this case, so that to help the device to switch between the IR and the warm light. So if we have, let's say, for example, set some intrusion rules where we have the monitoring area and the rule area. So if during the night, there are no movements at all, the cameras will actually be using the IR lighting just to ensure that we can see the details clearly, though in black and white. Once an intruder gets into those monitoring area or the rule area now, the camera intelligently switches between the IR to the white light just to ensure that you can capture images in color format. And those particular items that will cause the camera to trigger, maybe to switch between the IR, the white lights, are basically filters based on the human targets and the vehicle targets. Only those two. So this intelligent XVR will support these two AI functions, the perimeter protection function and the smart plus, the SMD plus function. So let's take a look at these multiple illumination modes. One, we have the smart illumination mode. We have the white light mode. Again, we have the IR mode. So this on the smart dual illuminators camera, the smart dual lighting is actually left by default just to ensure that you can switch between the white light and the IR mode, depending on the scenario, the case scenario where the camera has been installed. So in this case, this is usually by default. We have the white light mode, which is optional. It's only used when we want to capture the footages in color videos, footages that is. Now the IR mode can be selected to be on, though it's usually optional. If you set it to on, it's going to be suitable for scenes where supplementary white light is not required at all, reducing what you call the light pollution. So light pollution is caused as a result of having, let's say, for example, the IR light mode at the same time on with the white light mode on. So these smart dual illuminators reduces those light pollution scenes. So it's either the white light being used or the IR mode being used at all. So you have a system diagram here, just try to explain that particular concept just to ensure that everyone understands this piece of concept. So we have the IR illuminators on simply because we don't have any target within the monitoring area or the rule area. Now, the minute, let's say, for example, this individual gets into the monitoring area, the IR light turns on just to ensure that we have the images captured, but yet in black and white. Now, once maybe the intruder or the human target enters into the rule area, now the smart dual illuminator camera feature switches from IR mode to white light mode, just to ensure that you can capture the intruder in color format. Now, once the intruder exits the two sections here, the IR light switches on, switching off the white light mode. As simple as that. So we have these 4 frames illustrating these different key features for the smart dual illuminators. So more on to these smart dual illuminators. We have the full color monitoring in black, in white light mode that enables effective pictures in vivid color information and clear evidence in humans and vehicles. So we have the full color monitoring simply because the white light mode is on. We have the black and white monitoring simply because the white light is off and the IR mode is enabled in nature. For the key features for the full color, this supports high performance chipsets. The large lens aperture, just to ensure that it captures enough lighting, just to ensure that it can create those images or videos in full color under low illumination. Then again, this supports the smart white light that serves as a supplementary warm light to guarantee image usability even in total darkness. So we have the high performance chipsets. We have the super large aperture lenses. Then we have the warm light, the smart warm light function. So these are the three components that makes up the smart dual illuminators camera to produce full color images during the night or during the day based on the smart illumination. So the application areas for these smart dual illuminators are as follows. We have them, for example, at our homes. And let's explore some challenges here, then take a look at the solution provided by these smart dual lighting cameras with an AI XDR. So full color cameras solve the issues of dark and unclear images caused by the poor lighting conditions at night. But in order to ensure that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, colorful images, the white light will always be turned on at night, especially when there is no humans or vehicles. Light pollution caused by the white light also confuses consumers in some areas because we have the white light and the IR light again. So those are basically two combination of lighting sources that produce light pollution. So as a result, a solution provided by this is basically by having the smart dual illuminator cameras with which are basically going to work better with AI XDRs. So the smart dual illumination technology can switch between IR mode and the white light mode, and the white light will only turn on when the XDR has detected some intrusion in the rule area. When the target leaves the area, the white light will turn off, then the IR will be back on. So in this case, that's the same concept that we learned previously in the previous slide through those 4 thumbnails. Then we have the real 5MP, the ratio of 16:9 output display. So in this case, why do we call it real 5MP? So we call it real 5MP simply because it offers real scene restoration. The 16:9 aspect ratio better fits common HD displays and achieves undistorted 5MP image performance. We're going to take a look at the differences between the 16:9 aspect ratio alongside the 4:3 aspect ratio. So then again provides the real-time transmission, meaning that, for example, cameras that supports 5 megapixel at 25 frames per second, video output that allows us to enjoy the more fluent visual experience. So with a 5MP at 25 frames per second, so it implies that we're going to have complete data capture by the cameras without leaving any kind of frames, simply because it supports 25 frames per second and above. So whatever kind of display which is going to be produced is going to be complete, again, fluent and a smoother visual experience. Under the real image optimization, this camera supports the super adapt feature that realizes accurate scene identification and image auto adaptation for optimal performance. So a camera put on the outdoor scenes will realize that it's placed on the outdoor scenes, and again, what it will do, it will readjust the light input brightness, the contrast, just to ensure that it creates better footages for the images and the video. At the same time, a camera that has been put in the indoor scenes and there's no enough lighting, the camera has to readjust itself just to ensure that it can allow enough lighting, or maybe can capture enough light from the different sources, for example, the indoor source, then again produce you better images. That is the real image optimization. And those are some of the features that make the real 5MP camera more reliable and realistic when it comes to video output or the image output, and then again the fluency and the smoothness when it comes to the visual experience. So we have it here. So the two contrast displays with different aspect ratios. So here we have the left, we have the previous 5MP with the aspect ratio of 4:3, and now we have the real 5MP with an aspect ratio of 16:9 display output. So in this case, here we have the image that looks big, compressed inward. Even the size and the shape of this circular object here is not that realistic as compared with what we have here. So this gives clear, detailed video output. So in this case, Hdcvi Ten real 5MP with an aspect ratio of 16:9 is a leading technology of the HD over the coaxial market that solves the image distortion problem caused by the previous 5MP with an aspect ratio of 4:3 cameras, achieving an undistorted image performance and the super clear details. So any camera that has or supports the real 5MP with this aspect ratio, its displays will be much superior and richer when it comes to more details to it. Then we have the real-time. So real-time cameras are the first 5MP real-time cameras in the market. That's the Hdcvi. So compared to the previous 5MP at 20 frames per second, it provides more fluent visual experience and better restoration of the image scenes. So here we have a real-time that is a 5MP at 25 frames per second, and this non-real-time at 5MP with less than 25 frames per second. So this image is more smoother as compared with what we have here. So here we have some missing frames. That's the reason we have some ghostings as this object moves towards a certain direction. So leaves out some other traces of some frames which were not complete just at the end again. But this end here, this provides real-time, smooth, fluent visual experience when it comes to the display output of this 16:9 ratio. Yes, Khalid, that is possible. But again, remember that for you to use one cable to power all that will carry the video signal, the audio signal, the power signal, the data signal, the two devices must be POC enabled. That's the power over coaxial enabled. So the XVR should be POC enabled and the camera should be POC enabled. If the XVR is POC enabled and you include a non-POC enabled camera, the XVR will cut off power completely to that particular channel, so that it does not destroy the camera, at the same time does not injure the person who's doing the maintenance or maybe installation of those cameras. So for you to work with this one cable that will power the 5MP cameras, just ensure that the cameras are POC enabled and the XVRs are POC enabled. Else it will not function, simply because it will cut off power completely so that it doesn't damage the camera, or again does not create some short circuit that will end up damaging the XVR product that you have. Then we have the super adapt feature for the real 5MP. So in this case, this technology accurately recognizes if the monitored scene is indoor or outdoor or under wide dynamic range. and automatically adjust the image settings to provide users with optimized image performance in various surveillance scenarios. So in this case, this is an output from a camera that's a super depth feature is disabled or not enabled. While on the right here, we have an output from a camera that the super depth feature is enabled, or the camera has that super depth feature. You can take a look at this. The image is well optimized. Every other part of that frame is quite clearly seen. So all the HDCVI camera products, they have the super adapt enabled in them. So the real 5MP 6:9 display ratio applications, we have them in places such as the casino. But let's take a look at this challenge here first that was solved by the real 5MP. So in other critical areas with large crowds and busy activities, it is vital to capture every details of the monitoring scenarios and pay attention to every movement of the people in the area in real time to prevent unwanted behaviors while retaining unquestionable video evidence. So in this case, that's a challenge that could not have been solved simply because we do not have the real 5MP cameras in the market. But now, since we have them, this is how it's basically going to solve this issue. So in this monitoring scenes like the casino, where stakes are high, the real 5MP captures images in ultra high definition and 16:9 aspect ratio to provide clear, tiny details and real-time video output that present fluent visual expression, effectively restoring the monitoring scene. So those clearer details are basically going to be captured by the real 5MP applications. So the products selections for this are basically as follows. We have the smart dual illuminators cameras. There we have the 2 megapixels and the 5 megapixels. So this is an entry series, 2 megapixels, third generation, full color function. We have IL, this is for the smart dual illuminators, IR and LED model. So this is again 5 megapixels, light series or maybe entry series, 5 megapixels. First generation, full color with an IL function. These are the end again. Then other cameras that are not that support not full color, but maybe support full color and starlight functions are basically the ones that we have 2509 and 1509 series. Then again, we have HSA 2501, 1500. These are basically POC enabled, power over the coax. These are not POC enabled series. So in the Cooper series, we have HSC 51 series. This is basically with a fixed focal length, 5 megapixels, and a 1/3 inch sensor size product. So these are some of the smart dual illuminators and the real 5MP supported products. So for the XVR upgrades to AI, making AI accessible to everyone, we have the Cooper series I that supports AI function. We have the XVR 4000i series. These again are AI-enabled function products. Then we have the XVR 5000 third generation AI function. So some of the functions in this are basically higher than what we have in the Cooper series and the 4000 XVR 4000i series. Then we have the XVR 5000 4KL i3 series. That's the 5000 4K light series, which have third generation AI function. That is higher functions elevated as compared to the 4000i series and the Cooper series I series. So in this case, product selection may vary in different countries again. Then again, the local selection shall still prevail depending on the user's needs and for the project's needs again. So when it comes to the industry leadership, let's take a look at this just to appreciate where this AI reached. Okay, stop somewhere here. Should be, where are we? Should be here, I think. Okay. So we have leading HD over coaxial technology, leading audio over coaxial. Then we have 4K real time, AI function, smart illuminators, real 5MP. So in this case, work hard to bring more possibilities. And in the near future, we're going to have more other AI functions and NVRs that are basically going to be included in these XVR products with a lot of cost benefits to the clients in terms of availability and costings. And then again, when it comes to the usability of the products, going to be much easier when it comes to installations, configurations, maintenance, and other operations guided by the products as well. So in this case, this is just tip of the iceberg. In the near future, we're going to have more other advanced features in these AI XVR products produced by Dahua at large. So this brings us to the end of today's class, and the main theme of today is basically the high definition composite video interface 10 that brings us more other AI features to these products, just to ensure that it enable a safer society, smart living in different regions, different environments, and for different classes of different individuals. Thank you so much. If you have a question, can kindly ask as we close today's session. So this material is going to be uploaded in the usual place through the links that I sent you. Just open the link. You're going to have all the trainings that you've done, plus any other new trainings that we have done and not in that platform. Let me share that link here so that everyone can copy it and have access to the materials. So everyone can copy this link. You will have this training material uploaded at that particular point. Thank you so much. If there are no questions, just allow me to exit the meeting so that I can prepare for something else for a different target group. Thank you so much. Feel free to leave at your own pleasure. Have a good day.